This world shall know pain.
The Berserkers are renowned for their superior strength and combat capabilities. They continued to reside in the Keplan region, as they had no ambition to conquer other territories. However, after the discovery of black crystals within Keplan, over-excavation by humans caused the Berserkers to abandon their homes and leave the area. In order to preserve their way of life, Chieftain Gohaku, a giant among giants, who has a violent personality and is intimidating even among his own kind, a creature nobody among the giants can stand up to, planned to move south so that they may avoid any conflict with the humans. However, Tontu, the leader of the ancient giants, suggested they leave their longtime home on the Kelfion plain and suggested the tribe to turn their backs on their former chief, Gohaku. Gohaku insisted they mustn't leave the land and legacy of their ancestors. The young Berserker leader Tontu felt that the greed of humans would soon bring war against them and lead to the Berserkers' extinction. Although Tontu was very tiny in stature for a Berserker, he was gifted with the ability to see into the tribe's future and known to be very persuasive. With this, he was able to inspire the younger generation of Berserkers to adventure out and find a new place where they could call home. One night, Tontu and his followers left the other Berserkers and disappeared into the night. According to rumors, they were headed to Medaya, a mysterious and ancient land. Along their journey, Tontu met with Ein Jared, the Dwarven chieftain, who was already residing near Medaya. Given the past alliance between Berserkers and Dwarves, Ein Jared agreed to help Tontu by taking them to the Grand Chieftain's mausoleum within the sacred lands of the ancient Berserkers. As Ein Jared, Tontu, and his followers arrived at the mausoleum, they made their way to the center podium where they saw an ancient tome. Tontu slowly approached the podium, opened the tome, and looked at the ancient scripture. Although no one else was able to recognize the text, Tontu suddenly began to decode the message as if he had spoken the forgotten ancient language all his life. He began to recite the text. "To the one that reads this message, the Iron Buster that was forged by the ancient dwarves will save our kind." Upon reading this, Tontu's body began to change as he entered a state of metamorphosis. His previously small stature was now transformed into a hulking giant whose size was larger than the biggest of Berserkers. Much like his body's growth, Tontu suddenly began to spark out with new inherent abilities and became even wiser than before. With the help of Ein Jared and the dwarves, they were able to forge a new Iron Buster that would be distributed amongst the Berserkers. With this Iron Buster at hand, Tontu was certain that this new weapon would bring forth immeasurable power to the Berserker race. Giants are considered simple people. Their destructiveness is also simple. Breaking a wall while nailing is part of their routine, so one has to be careful when dealing with them. Some giant fighters tattoo their bodies upon becoming adults, because this process is very painful. Those with more tattoos earn more respect in their society. They believe that the more flashy their tattoos, the more power from their ancestors and nature they will receive. For giants, death is a welcomed process. Their customs are to expose the dead to the open air so that they can once more return to nature. This is why you also see hyenas in Gohaku Plains. For those wondering what came about Gohaku, Gohaku remained in the primal giant post inside Gohaku Plains, and doing so led to his rage consuming him and becoming a violent giant. After Tontu left with some of the giant people to the mausoleum in northern Medaya. Even though the giants split into now 2 tribes, they are still considered to make some of the most loyal friends in the world for those lucky enough to get to know them.